Guys, man, oh man, what a couple months it's been. I haven't made very many videos. I haven't. It's just not, it's too much vulnerability. I mean, I'm going through it in school and it's been a lot of really deep traumatic diving. And then to try to talk about it and post it, it's just too much unsafety, right? This is enough. I'm doing that work. It's got to wait for a little bit. But I've really accomplished some big things this summer, and it's not going to be what you're going to expect me to say, but I accomplished being average, getting to average. I've been working at it for a couple of years, but like just being an average human. Nobody knows who I am. You don't really have any friends. You're middle class. Nothing really notable about me at all. And I think the biggest piece is no one asking any more of me or wanting me to be any more. And that's actually huge for me. And I don't mean that to sound so bad because it almost sounds pretentious. The truth is no one's normal and average. But for me specifically, I was always told I was a superstar. God was always going to expect a lot of me. Everybody always needed a lot of me. I needed to study a lot. I needed to care more. I needed to be more, like always graduating a year early from high school and taking the SATs in 7th grade and like on and on and on and on. And then that caught on professionally. So I never really recovered from that and just went into the workforce and started working all the time. And suddenly all the fears I had around punishment and authority and feeling so, people don't realize when you have that kind of trauma, I think people think you just are choosing to people please because you're like weak of character and you just kind of want to make other people happy. So first of all, everybody people pleases. If you don't know you do it, you do. You should check in with that. But that's your journey. Sorry, it's not. I love my journey, and my journey is realizing that I did not have freedom to make choices because of extreme. I had some extreme trauma. I grew up in an environment that was a little bit like a concentration camp, to the point where I'm realizing I can hide in plain sight so well. Here I was reading this book, Hiding from Love. I had no idea. I was hiding so much. I didn't even know I was hiding. I was hiding from hiding. And I'm reading this book going, holy crap. But the hiding is so distinct. Come on, would you meet me and be like, that girl clearly has a problem expressing herself? Really? Like, no, that's not going to be remotely what you would think when you'd meet me. So what a brilliant disguise. And I realized and you definitely wouldn't realize that. You might think I'd hold back, but you would assume it's a choice. You wouldn't think that I had an actual inability to express myself. And I think many of us are this way. I think many of us have had sort of these kinds of traumas and don't even realize because we have the illusion of choice. We feel we can, but it's very, very difficult. And the amount of emotion I have, and then I can't think straight because I got all this adrenaline running and like all these different. So getting to a place where nobody gives a shit what I say and nobody cares was really important for me because I needed the contrast. I am beginning to realize the metaphysical journey and sort of this mastery, this hilarious mastery of if you want to create something, you kind of have to go to the opposite extreme, and then you'll ask for different things and the pendulum can swing. So like I was really mediocre this summer. I don't think I've ever been professionally mediocre. And very few people are going to say that's growth. Most people need a lot of swift kicking in the ass. But I came already sprinting towards like, blah, 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 blah. What else can I do? What hoop can I jump through? Who else can I please? And yeah, it'll get you promoted really quickly. It'll get you paid a lot. And it'll get you into places where suddenly you don't know how to get the hell out. And so literally I've been working at like being average, like detooling what I had built for several years because I wasn't ready. I didn't want people to look to me for something to say. And my mom was always like, well, people looking you to lead. I'm like, people looking you to say things. Like, I'm not ready for that. And then people would like what I say, but I was fake. I was hollow. I felt hollow. It wasn't even being fake. I felt hollow. And then come to realize I've been acting my whole life, just not getting paid for it. And we all are to a certain extent. However, for me specifically, because of the environment I was raised in, I learned not just to hide how I was feeling from people around me. I was raised around strong empaths. I'm a very strong empath. I'm like a satellite dish. I can pick up on everything, partially because it was amplified with this experience. But I learned to even hide my energetic imprint. So I had to pretend to be happy or whatever to the point where it was not detectable even by energetic imprint. And so That's what's made me able to hide in plain sight so well. But if you get me into certain situations, you'll suddenly see there's an incongruency, something doesn't match. And so no one usually says that being mediocre for a summer is a goal or growth, but I am saying it here. If you are an overachiever and you can't seem to stop jumping through hoops or being led around by the nose or by carrots from bosses or folks in authority positions, even though it might make you a lot of money, you know you're selling yourself out and you're feeling hollow and miserable. I get it. And that's not going to happen to everyone. But for me, it did. And the first step is to not care. You have to actually let yourself be late to work and let yourself live with the day-to-day reality of your boss not liking you and knowing you can give more and just being annoyed about it or feeling betrayed. And what's been fascinating in this scenario is what I didn't expect again and again was that they would never ask me a question. I didn't expect that. I thought someone would ask, why did you go from being a superstar who wanted to get promoted to like barely like being mediocre? Of course, maybe my mediocre is better than others. I don't know. I could get a write-up next week. There's a lot happening there. I've taken on some big things. And had I had the ability to speak that I am now having as a result of this growth, and I am now able to exhibit, I probably wouldn't be in this scenario. But I have a feeling there's a lot of growth here for everyone. Because the interesting thing about me, and I just had an insight, that's why I just popped off. So let's hold on so I don't forget because it's important insight. But I had this realization the other day that it's a really strange thing about me. I am a very smart, quick learner, coordinated, but I didn't walk till I was 16 months old. And that's always been a strange thing because I'm like, I'm a quick learner. What is that? But when I could walk, I could run. And I was an expert crawler. So why walk, right? But I realized I didn't walk till I could run. And I think that's what's happening with my voice. I think this is a way that I am. Very slow to evolve, but once they get there, like they're there. Probably a lot of people get their voice and like kind of bumble around or might not have that much to say and just babble on. But for me, I do babble on. Right? But I really have something to say. And I needed the contrast of being average. One, so I could finally like let go of all my resistance to people wanting to hear from me and being a superstar and overachiever and all that stuff, right? I had to be like, because it switches the conversation. I went from being like, leave me alone, to suddenly it's like, oh wait, no one's around. No one's listening. I have something to say. I want someone to listen. And suddenly I want it. Suddenly I can attract it. I'm not resisting it, right? So if you're in the law of attraction and that whole conversation, the pendulum swing is so key because I really had to experience that. What just happened? Oh, my light's tweaking out. I guess my energy's cool. But I had to experience that to start calling it in. I want people to listen to me. I want people to watch my videos. I mean, who uploads videos like I do and then doesn't want people to watch them? That's insane. Except for the fact that I realized I've actually been healing my ability to be authentic in relationship by being authentic with camera first. Hit me like a ton of bricks yesterday. I didn't even realize. And I'm sharing these insights not because they're going to be interesting to you, but because my insights, if you're listening to this while you're doing something or whatever, I believe will give you insights into yourself because I'm having them. And by its very nature, you can have them by listening. They're not going to be the same. But if I'm having insights like this by making the video, that tells me that someone else is going to be having insights when they're watching it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having the level of insights, just that I'm having. But I'm realizing now that when I get my voice or as I am, my ability to really speak regardless of scenario, it's going to be very powerful. And it's a spiritual purpose. So I don't feel that I had an abusive childhood like I was being picked on. I feel that that was all chosen for a specific purpose. And I believe where I'm going, my voice must be very strong. I'm going to have to own it so much and know it so well that what comes out of me flows without any interruption, regardless of circumstance. And so it had to be taken away from me. And I have to work for 40 years to get it back. 40 years, isn't that biblical? Go figure. By the way, random side tangent. I can't believe that people think they're irrelevant at 40, especially women. I've been working my whole life for this. I'm finally here. Why would I be irrelevant now when I finally have something to say or offer the world? But it's a very cool thing because I'm beginning to realize by talking to this camera and watching the videos and stuff, I thought I was learning to get natural on camera. I think I'm just learning to get natural. And granted, a lot of people can be authentic in real life, but struggle with authenticity on a camera. I think because I was hiding, I think I got so good at faking authenticity that in real life it's not something I would have been able to overcome. But having to get authentic on video, I had to watch myself over and over and be like, no, that's not real. No, that's not it. No. And I'll take videos that make more real. I'm like, bullshit. Like, because there's something here about authenticity. And there's something about, if you're always a superstar, then you have to be that way, and it owns you. And there was this line in one of those Bob Goff books I bought, and it's so amazing. And he's like, my grandma always told me, until you're fired like at least twice, you're not a real person, you're not a real adult. And I think I've been fired once, but that doesn't, I'm not gonna say that counts, because especially I wasn't in my superstar professional. Like, I have not been fired. I would never allow. I've never even been written up. I would never allow it. I have to be perfect. And here I was, this perfect pet all the time, but I'm really not a perfect pet, because it's not my personality at all. Like someone said, one of my old mentors, he said, Emily, you make a great number 2, but I think you'd be a great number 1. But it couldn't be a number 1, because every time I met a number 2, I was automatically, or every time I met a form of authority, right, it was automatically a number 2. They automatically own me. I'm automatically below them or above them, right? And I'm feeling this leveling out of being a peer. And it's an interesting scenario at work, because I'm employed as a department supervisor, and my knowledge, like I could be consulting at probably like the CEO, coaching the CEO. Okay, that's a bit. At the corporate office, I have advanced expertise for my level, is what I'm saying. I'm too advanced kind of for my level, but I'm feeling like a peer with people who are farther, much, much more above me. They feel they are, certainly. But I don't want to play with them. I don't want to be a part of that. I literally don't want to be a part of their team because of their ethics. And that's what I want to tell them. And I might. And I guess it's the things that I'm going to say that scare me in some ways, but I'm feeling ready for that, because that's what I mean. I really had to earn my voice back, because I think I have that profiting gift, and I have some things to say that people need to hear, not because they're true and not because they're right and not because I'm emanating them. I seem to be developing a spite, like a bit of a smiting issue, where I can start to sort of talk about something and get really passionate and really on point. And I don't think that's coming from me. I think it's probably my, hopefully, inner being, depending what influence I'm under. I guess you guys gotta watch that. Anyway, so this was the summer of mediocre. And if I have done my work well, I feel it will hopefully culminate in a write-up, hopefully not a full firing. But I don't know exactly how people are going to take that if they hand me a write-up, but I'm going to say, go me. I have finally achieved it. Like, this is an achievement. I worked very hard for this, because it is very hard for me to go into work and have a boss who isn't happy with me, or not be in the conversation of promotion, or how can I advance my skill set, or be a bigger contribution here. And it's such an interesting environment. It's so perfect to work through this, because you can't, there's no point in doing any of those things. And it constantly sends you that message. Even though verbally it's telling you, do it, do it, do it, do it. There's a constant message of check out, don't care, don't think, just say yes. Don't think, just say yes. And don't care. But yet if you don't care enough, there's like this constant, it's impossible to be successful in that way. And so I realized I came back to a situation where it was impossible. And I keep thinking I want to leave, and I'm realizing I can't. I've got to stay and see this through. So if they fire me, then I can leave. But there's something here for me. I've come back to this place, and they have something for me. And so I get to be brave about it. But it doesn't scare me like it used to. I'm beginning to realize I can kind of look at it as a game. As I learn more about who I am, as the last few days, really, I've had big insights about hiding. I mean, I realize I can hide in plain sight so well that there isn't a whole lot I need to be afraid of. I can protect myself quite well in these kinds of scenarios. At least I'm not saying in all global scenarios. But anyway, I don't know. I want to do a catch up. I think I took a couple 30-minute videos, which I feel are way too long, and this one's better. But I just had a lot of insights into, first, the metaphysical journey, like I was talking about, that pendulum swing. Like, it sounds so weird to be like growth is being average or mediocre for a summer or touching it, but it is because I need the contrast. I need to know, why do I want to be here? And then I need to get there and go, I don't want to be here. Like, you have to go to, the Armpit America, wherever that is. I'm not going to assign a city because somebody loves it there and lives there, but to know you don't want to live there, right? You have to go to the beach. I went to the ocean because I thought maybe I want to live on the ocean. And you know what I discovered? I don't really want to live on the ocean. I don't care. I want to be by the mountains and I like the seasons, but I had to go somewhere warm all the time to do that. And we get it when it's physical like that. But that's also, there are vibrational places, all kinds of vibrational places. Everything is vibrational anyway. But if I want to get freedom and autonomy, I have to go from being a superstar to swinging that pendulum to being mediocre, so I don't care, so I can come back to the middle and go, what do I want now? Because that was running me. I had to let go of it and drop it. And in that space, it feels so empty and so purposeless. And of course, I picked up school and all kinds of other wonderful things are happening. But same with the average. Like, I don't want to be looked at. I don't want to be on. I don't want to lead. I don't want to lead. And then it's like, okay, nobody wants you to lead, Emily. And now I'm like, oh, but what about me? I think I want to lead. And that's what I needed. I needed that hunger because I have everything else. I have the voice, the skill set, the knowledge, the passion. And anyway, so there's a lot of learning there, and just realizing also so much of what drives me and hurts me, and it's a meaty time. And I'm sorry I haven't shared more of it with you. I don't know if you like these rambly videos or not. I've literally made 2 30-minute ones. I'm like, Emily, you can't post that. Now I'm up to 16 minutes, so I better shut it down. I'm gonna do a little reading. Thanks for being here with me, though. I don't know if I say that enough. I don't expect anyone to watch these. I guess I can't really imagine why anyone would. I don't think, I have a lot of stuff around not being that interesting and being annoying and talking too much, and yet I'm coming to a place where I can't shut up, and that's it, right? I was born and I talked too much. My mom said I never shut up. I don't remember much of my childhood, but all I would do is talk, and then at some point I got a message to shut up, and I stopped talking, and it didn't start again. And now I have a lot to say, but I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to take up too much airwave or space, but I have a lot to say. And there's this element of just really accepting who we are and being like, all right, I'm just a weirdo in this way, where before I would have been like, people don't like that, I can change that. And I always identified with like Mystique in the X-Men as a superpower, as a shapeshifter, not in the sense that I lose my core self, but why it would never feel like I would lose my core self to me when I shapeshift, because even when I was at home in the place I should feel like I belong most, I had to act the strongest. So I always had to be internally bound. Like, there was a deep inner place nobody else like gets to or knows what's going on, right? That's why I don't know what's happening there, but I could only cry alone for most of my life. Even being able to cry on camera, like people would be like, oh, she's perimenopausal, or, she's unstable. And it's like, dude, that is freaking progress. I used to not be able to cry ever unless I closed myself in a bathroom alone. Now I can cry in a freaking cafe in Whole Foods. Like, praise Jesus, right? Which is a whole nother conversation. I've realized what I want to believe with faith. I've realized what I have to say politically. All these things are very intimidating, but I also see, again, how I had to I keep repeating myself, so forgive me, but just, I guess that's good for me to hear it. I had to lose it to realize why I want it. And I'm really grateful, really, really grateful for this summer. It wasn't glamorous. It was more glamorous than last summer. But it delivered.